Hey there, everybody. Welcome into this edition of ESPN FC's Extra Time. We got Don, we got Steve, and we got me fumbling.
The president of
through my
ESPN.
paper.
Look at the president of ESPN.
Yeah,
Look.
if you didn't watch the show, make sure to check out like the first 15 minutes. And Frank LaBeouf also with us as well. Casey went on this weird tangent where somehow I was the president, not just of ESPN, but of a failing, bankrupt ESPN.
Yeah.
Really,
And we've all got
very
no jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, it was my fault there. All right, somewhere soon here, this.
Don's got it in front of
Oh, you stole it from me.
You passed it to me.
Nickel, always in the middle.
You did. You passed it to me. You did. I thought you'd doing
All right,
that.
first question here from Mild Bill Davidson. Stevie, is Wirtz overvalued at 150 million euros? It's not your money. Who cares?
Everybody is.
Yeah, exactly.
It depends where you're coming from. There's so many different ways to look at it. 150 million for a football player is a ridiculous amount of money, but that's what the market dictates.
Yeah.
And so you can't say he's overvalued. Listen, the value of anything is only what somebody's willing to pay for it.
Sure,
right?
but it makes.
But if Liverpool are shrewd, which they
Well,
will
Liverpool
be.
are not stupid.
No, because they'll sell £100 million worth of players.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So you're getting a player for 50 million. They'll make it up somewhere.
Well, but really, we'll judge whether he was worth 150 million when he leaves Liverpool,
Yeah.
right? That's when and that's a big number to live up to whenever you do leave Liverpool. It's
Well, nobody-
5 years, 10 years.
Whenever it goes the right way, nobody ever talks about the money.
You're right. You're right.
It's only when it
Other
goes
than it was,
wrong.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Rohit asked, what happened with Jack Grealish? A player at the peak of his game a year ago is now likely leaving City. Frank, what did happen to Jack Grealish?
At first, it's very sad because when he was playing for Aston Villa, that guy was absolutely talented and crazy good. I think I have to say, I deeply think that he picked the wrong club in a way that we know how Pep Guardiola is making his player playing, and that doesn't, for me, didn't fit to Grealish way of playing. He's a free horse, I would say. He does whatever he wants. That's what made him so good when he was playing for Aston Villa. And for City, you have a tactic. You have something very precise you have to do. And maybe it didn't fit to Grealish way of thinking the football.
Next question. Oh, Don, actually, let me give it to you on Grealish.
Well, I interviewed Jacob Murphy, the Newcastle player, and I asked him what the difference when you're setting up with Jeremy Doku or Jack Grealish. And he said to me, interestingly, he went, when we done our homework on Man City, we always felt as though Jack Grealish would play in the big games. I said, why? He said, but tactically, he said, Doku can take players on, he's direct, he looks good, and he's a fantastic player. He said, but tactically, the reason why Pep started Jack in the biggest games is because he would put his foot on the ball and he would attract so many players towards him, then they'd spray it out to their right-hand side and leave the overload on Newcastle's right-hand side, City's left. So tactically, you're looking at a player who'd done it for the team but then sacrificed himself. And I think he's getting a bit of a bad rap because Phil Foden didn't have a good year. Grealish came in for a lot of money, but he's won the lot, by the way. He's won trebles, he's won Super Cups, he's won Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues. He's won the absolute lot. I think what you'll see with Jack Grealish, you're just looking at a boy now who's just lacking in confidence, lacking in a little bit of match sharpness. If he goes back to Villa, if he goes to Everton, that's been rumoured, if he goes to Newcastle and plays on a different side, right side, I think you might see Jack come back to his best.
I think I'm with Frank on this. He went to the wrong club.
He won the lot, Steve.
He's won the lot, yeah. But
It's not. Yeah,
he's
you're not saying you wouldn't have done it.
He's not enjoying playing football the way he was previously. He's playing a different type of game, and it may be a bit dramatic, but it kind of seems like he may be fallen out of love with the game.
He'll bounce back.
He will.
He will.
Because I think
So you agree with Don that we will probably see the old Jack Grealish at some
Yeah.
point in the future?
Yes.
You don't think
Yeah.
it's out of him,
No, I think.
but needs a move.
Yes, absolutely.
probably
As
needs
Frank
someone
said, he
like-
went to the wrong club. I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought he'd made.
There's no
made the wrong
redemption there
choice as
for
well.
him.
He probably needs someone like David Moyes at Everton, 'cause that's where he's been rumoured to go. And he probably needs David Moyes to put an arm around him, tell him he's brilliant, put him in the system, go and be a maverick, go and play, let him enjoy his football.
Right, just go and play.
Interesting question here. Next one. Did you? So this is you guys as a player. Did a manager ever put you in a match where you felt you weren't ready? I feel like this guy must have been watching the U.S. last night. Could you tell after a few minutes that your top level wasn't good enough and that you needed more development before you felt ready?
When I was at Ayr United, came in one day and they told me I was playing centre forward.
How old are you?
Centre forward?
Aye. I think I'd just turned 19.
You'd never played center forward before?
I'd never played centre forward before, ever.
Like not even in the schoolyard?
No. I'd never played centre forward before, whether when I was in the boys' club, when I was in the U18s, then when I was in the reserves.
How'd it go?
I was back at fullback after about, I'm going to say 25 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a completely different world.
I had one playing for Craig Brown who I absolutely loved being the Scotland manager, and he pulled me before a game against Croatia away. And he said to me before the game, he went, "Can you do a job for me tonight?" And I've gone, "Go on." He went, "Can you man mark someone?" And I've gone naively, "Of course I can."
Right.
How hard can that be? Just follow someone around the pitch. I played against Prosinecki. It was like his Zidane's of that era. Yeah. And he absolutely tore me to shreds. He took me to every part of the pitch I didn't want to be in, just to make space for other players. And whenever I tried to get close, he took the ball past me. He wasn't particularly quick, just like brilliant feet, great balance. When I stood off him and I give him a yard, he started spraying it everywhere. And it was an absolute lesson never to take a position for granted, thinking how hard can man marking someone be.
Frank, you ever felt out of your depth?
No, I was lucky enough to start in small clubs, and not reach the national team before I was 26. So I didn't have to experience that, having a lack of maturity in front of any opponents or team or national team. So no, I was really lucky, because it must be a nightmare to feel so inferior comparing to some others.
Spent most of my brief playing career feeling that way anyway. Not that bad. For Stevie, in terms of comparison in the Pulisic situation, would you say Luka Modric is a better example than Ronaldo? For those that don't know, Landon Donovan was making the Ronaldo comparison. We talked about it on yesterday's show.
Well, again, if you're making that comparison today, it's similar to Ronaldo, because Modric is in the position, again, right now, that every time he plays for Croatia, it could be his last one. So he's playing for free.
Extra motivated, right?
He's playing for free. He's doing what he wants, and he's not going to turn it down, because it might never happen again.
I think the better comparison would probably be
a younger player.
Like Vinny. Vinny played more games than Pulisic in the club season and still.
But you bring it two legends into the game there, aren't you? And Modric and Ronaldo, you're comparing like unbelievable players.
Yeah, I think generally it's just to say this is the talisman of the team. If they play 50 games, they're still going to show up for their national team. Yeah. Pulisic is doing what these guys have done and isn't showing up, and therefore the comparison. Natum's interior decorator.
Let's throw Messi in. If Messi turned around and said, "You know what, I'm tired, I need a break," nobody in Argentina would have a problem with it.
No, because he hung a banner already. They don't care.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody would have a problem.
Yeah. No, I think the app comparison has to be younger players.
Yeah.
I think Vinny's a really good one.
Yeah.
It's a little different. One's a World Cup
qualifier. You brought it up.
Okay, whatever. For Frank, what do Marseille need to do in the summer to close the gap on PSG and potentially compete for the title next year with De Zerbi?
Good luck. Wow. All the best.
Find some oil fields.
Sign the PSG players.
Money.
Sign all the PSG players.
The groundsman's digging the ground and all the oil comes out.
Money talks.
Can they print cash?
Nobody can compete with Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need cash. They need cash in order to buy players, because they have a good team. But comparing to Paris Saint-Germain, we are talking about the team who spends so much billions in order to win the Champions League, and they achieved that. But comparing to the other clubs, and Marseille is on those clubs, it's incomparable. It's impossible to cope with them. They're doing their best, but they don't have enough money.
How did Lille win it that 1 year, Frank? How did Lille win it that 1 year then? What was that, like 3 years ago?
It was Montpellier. Montpellier won it, and I think it was Lille.
Yeah,
I don't want to be mistaken. It's not Lyon. It was Lille. That was more because Paris Saint-Germain weren't good than Lille were good. With all due respect to Lille, because Paris Saint-Germain had an off season. It's mostly because of that. Otherwise, nobody can compete with Paris Saint-Germain.
All right, we're on a summer break now. How long before you started missing football once you were on summer break from club and national team duties?
I'll tell you when I missed it. Back in the day when the fixture list got announced, and you get the fixture list, what was it, Stevie, about a month before, just around about that sort of time. And you see the fixtures. If you're at Liverpool, you see the Everton game, you see the Man United games, and you start getting the blood flowing and the juices going. And then you've got to go after the pre-season. And
I said, would you get the fixture list before pre-season or in it?
Around about the same time.
Okay.
Probably just
Okay.
before. Probably just before when you're on your holidays.
So as soon as you start to miss it, you're back to it, basically. Is what
Well, yeah, but then you've got to go through pre-season, which you hate.
Okay.
Back in our day, because it was a running pre-season. It was not today's pre-season where the ball's out. It was you didn't see a ball for a week. It's cross-country running for a week.
Do you ever miss it, Stevie?
No.
No. And by the way, on yesterday's show, I said Ayia Napa, my holiday destination, was in Greece.
Yes.
I was
Tell us where it was.
I was 700 miles out. It was in Cyprus.
To be fair, nobody on this desk was going to call you out exactly.
No, but even I knew it weren't Greece when I said it. I was 700 miles out of Cyprus.
Okay. Frank, how long before you started missing football on your summer breaks?
Because I was playing with the national team, and every summer after the Premier League, let's say, we had to go for tournaments, whatever it could have been. When I heard that the players of my club were going to the pre-season, is when I started to say, I meet the guy, I want to be with the guys, and we know that you stick to each other, that the chemistry comes together with the pre-season. So yeah, it's when I was starting to be impatient to find my teammates again.
He had that FOMO, the fear of missing out. All right, last question, very fitting. It's a percentage question for Don. Don, percentage chance Scotland qualify for the World Cup.
Well, here's the group, Stevie. Belarus, Denmark, Greece, and Scotland. So we're a better side than Greece. We're a better side than Belarus. So 50-50 with Denmark.
Okay. Stevie, you going to go higher or lower than 50-50? Come on.
No, it's definitely 50-50.
Ah.
It really is a toss of a coin.
Denmark scares you?
Yeah.
Worries you?
Well, Denmark just do that.
Yeah.
We're a little whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah.
And if you go at the wrong time,
If you go at the wrong time, it's over. Lots of sound effects.
Technical speak.
Yeah, from Steve Nicol. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Extra Time. Thank you very much to Frank Leboeuf for staying up late with us over in Europe. For Don, Stevie, I'm Seb. Thanks for watching. And a reminder to watch tomorrow's edition of ESPN FC. I believe it'll be Dan back in the chair running the show.